Welcome to the Newtown Big Dreams podcast, an interview-style talk show that's your gateway to the fabulous and fascinating people who relocated to start a new life. Whether you're new to our podcast or your city, our fellow neighbors from across Canada, North America, and the entire English-speaking world share their stories of reaching new horizons and big dreams. So sit back and relax as we navigate in-depth and intimate conversations with entrepreneurs, thought leaders, executives, creatives, and anyone who can share their story about their Newtown big dreams. And now, here's your host, Luke J. Menkes.
So I'm here today with Jason Clarke. He's in Kingston, Ontario. Jason used to live in Kelowna, and we met in 2016. We worked together for a short while, relatively short while, here in real estate in Kelowna. Jason is a really interesting guy. I wanted to get him on the show because he's lived in multiple cities, started a life from scratch in multiple cities. Since the age of 10, he has been involved in the business of buying and selling one thing or another. And after university, Jason opened a small chain of family clothing stores, which gave him a huge understanding that to be successful, top customer service is a priority. And from working with Jason, I could say that's definitely true. We worked on several deals together, and he's just great with the clients. If I was a little tired or impatient, I would always have Jason call the client and talk them off the ledge. So Jason is with EXP in Kingston, Ontario. So when did you make the switch to EXP?
Just before Christmas.
What was the reasoning behind the switch?
Well, actually, I looked into it when I was in Kelowna, Remax there back in August 2020, and did not make the plunge then. But it was reintroduced to me again, and it was just like, it was one of those things you just couldn't unsee it anymore.
Right.
Just too many possibilities and everything, and it was a no-brainer.
You like it?
Yeah, I had to switch.
Nice.
And it's been great so far.
I notice you've got a green screen behind you. Do you do a lot of videos?
Just starting to do some. They're more, right now I just did a bunch, but they're more driven by QR codes and specialized for certain neighborhoods in the Kingston area. So they're not like live on YouTube. They're hosted on YouTube, but you have to follow a link to get to them. So
I see. So you'll like do a little preview of a house and then you'll record it in front of that green screen.
Or an offer for a certain neighborhood that, so if it's like I'm in Polson Park neighborhood of Kingston, so I'm sending out a postcard to this neighborhood with home values, and it says scan this QR code to learn more.
Right.
It goes to a video, and then I can talk to them personally.
Nice. So you moved, did you grow up in Kingston? Is that where you
grew up in Mississauga, actually?
Yeah, me too. I think we talked about that. But And at some point you moved to the West Coast. When was that?
2012, moved to Vancouver. I was ran a direct mail marketing company, and we were expanding out west. So I moved out to Vancouver in 2012 and expanded that there. And that's what kept me there for a few years. And then eventually in 2016, I bought a home in Kelowna as we had a new baby, and we were either raise her downtown Vancouver or move back east, or let's move to beautiful Kelowna where we can afford a home.
Right. And the homes were still pretty affordable in 2016.
Yeah, no, it was, I timed it right there. It just, it seemed like it was a lot, paying, high threes for a townhouse, but it was nice by Gyro Beach there. But it definitely went up in the 4 years I was there. So,
nice. And then you moved back to Kingston. Why Kingston?
Well, one of my sisters actually moved to Kingston about probably 8 years ago. And my niece is here. My wife is from Montreal, so it's 2 hours to Montreal. It's 2 hours to Mississauga, 2.5. So it's right in the middle. And there's a nice similar size town to that we like. Like it's almost identical, like size, population to Kelowna, and it's a good family feel. And there's a lot of great people here.
So what's the market like in Kingston?
It's a seller's market. It's if I pulled up the system right now, there's probably only about 75 detached homes for sale in the whole board.
Wow.
Everybody's just holding offers here. So bring it to market on a Thursday, hold offers till Monday, and sit back, and you're anywhere from 10 to 30 offers, generally with no conditions and well over ask.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So are a lot of people hesitating to sell because they think the market's going to keep going up, or?
Well, they're hesitating to sell because they have nowhere to go. So most people that are selling, it's either investment property, or somebody's downsizing, or somebody's moving out because it's a big military town here. And if you watch, like yesterday, on the front page of the Star was that Kingston was the safest city in Canada for COVID, right? Like there's been one death total here.
Yeah.
Right. And we've been open up, like in Ontario. I know you're in BC, they're a little more opened up there, but in Ontario, we were the first ones opened up. So we're totally green, where the GTA is still not open up, right? So restaurants are open here, everything's open, you can go everywhere. There's rules in place, obviously.
Yeah.
Like a certain amount of people, but so.
Do you have to wear masks everywhere?
Yes. Everywhere in any kind of store. The only time you're take your mask off is if when you're sitting down at a table at a restaurant. And then obviously you're all spaced out because the table beside you will have nobody. So
I see.
So I mean, it's a different world now, as everybody knows.
Right.
Yeah.
So is there a lot of construction happening for?
Not like Kelowna. I think when I left there was 11 cranes up or something like that with towers being built. But there's about 4 or 5 mid-size apartment buildings being built by Queens. So it's going to be more student rentals. And then there's a few newer subdivisions that are being built with some new homes.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely some growth going on here.
They can't keep up though.
No, it's and now with COVID, people are moving here. I'm helping families coming from, they're moving from Toronto. They sell a 2-bedroom apartment, come here, buy a brand new detached home, and a bedroom for every kid, right? So for the same money.
Yeah, totally. Well, it's kind of a nice thing dealing with sellers right now. Like you said, you can get multiple offers very easily over the course of a weekend. Have you come up with any strategies to help your buyers? Because it's really frustrating right now in Kelowna. If you got a buyer that's looking for, especially in certain price segments, it's almost impossible.
Yeah.
Get to a house, you see 15 business cards from the realtors, and we're always competing.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, there's not a lot. I mean, so much on the market. So, I mean, the best advice right now is it depends on how many houses people have missed out on. Because I'm lucky enough, I've had 3 listings in January. I have 3 more coming up. And most of the people that have won them were pretty strong offers. And they have missed out on multiple homes. So it's just, okay, it's either let's pay June's price now.
Right.
And let's just get it. And, and if it's Toronto money, it's similar to being in Kelowna and somebody's coming with their Vancouver money, right? They've sold their home. It's like, okay, yeah, this beautiful home, we'll pay $600,000, where somebody local here can't see it being worth more than $500,000. Right. They knew a year and a half ago it was worth $350,000. So it's hard for a local person to take that plunge. Yeah. So that's what so back to your question of strategies. I mean, the strategy is you definitely have to go in with no conditions and pay more. It's not, there's a nice video or letter can go a long way sometimes, but not in this market. I just presented to somebody I was presenting for a colleague of mine, and there was 19 offers, and the letter The people with the letters were 100,000 too short, so the letter didn't help. It was a nice, kind thought, but didn't
Yeah.
help them secure their home dream
Yeah.
house.
So condition free, that could be a little risky with an older home as far as inspections. What about the financing? Like, I have had people where they've had like 50% down. They're like totally qualified. They do need a mortgage, but they're going to not put in a financing condition because they're like 99.99% sure that they're good. Is that what you recommend? Like, do you recommend people have everything?
Well, I mean, obviously, we're going to tell them their pitfalls and stuff that could happen. But most people, because everybody's holding offers here, and it's not like, okay, it came on the market Thursday and they're holding offers till Monday, let's say it's 6. So they do have 2 or 3 days time to go talk to their lender and say, okay, here's the house, here it is. They send them everything. They're like, are we good to go at what price?
Right.
And then so they technically are getting an approval because they're not having to worry about it. Today came on the market this morning. We got to put in a unconditional offer or we don't get it by 4:00 today. So they do have some time, right?
Yeah. And I guess the mortgage brokers are really busy too.
Yeah, everybody's busy. It's just the buying agents are very busy, not writing offers and not getting deals because there's 18 offers are coming in. 17 people have missed out on that home, right? So, I mean, the one strategy I am trying to do, if I do have a client that's looking for a particular home and the house does sell, I will drop some flyers and knock a few doors in that neighborhood and say, hey, like that's right. I have a buyer for a very similar home, right?
Mm-hmm. Does what are the rules there like about dual agency? Because we used to do a lot of dual agency deals back when it was legal, especially in cases like this.
Yeah.
No, I never saw a problem with like talking to both sides and making a fair deal for both sides, but we cannot do that here.
Yeah, no, and when I was in BC, I was there when it came into play. 2018. It was 18. It came in. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it came in the summer of 18. Yeah. Here we can still have dual agency, and it's very surprising on how many people call the sign. Like every listing I have, there's been multiple calls off the sign.
Nice.
So you're still able to have dual agents here and double end a deal. And but the reality is, I mean, there's so many people out there looking for homes that they have an agent, right? It's the only difference is here when you're doing an exclusive listing, you do have that opportunity to double in the deal because it's exclusive.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, as a buyer's agent, I've been working with some people for a couple of months now, and we're competing, and we came really close a couple of times. But I know people who are looking to sell, and they'd be a good match. Right. But I'm technically have to drop one side or the other. Yeah. But that's just the way it is. So.
Yeah. So you have to refer it out at that point.
Yeah. And how is business doing there? Like here, it's a bit mixed. So certain places are really crowded. I mean, they're at capacity with whatever that is now. And other places are really hurting because a lot of people, I think we want to go out, socialize, see people, but worried about, well, is it going to be a lineup? Am I going to be turned away at the door? Is it going to be a big hassle? I got to give, my ID. And so commercial seems to be a little bit mixed here.
Yeah, well, our lockdown we were just opened back up February 10th. So we've been only 2 weeks. So, I mean, there's still people, like most people aren't going out. I mean, it's just, you've been locked down for so many months. It's like all of a sudden, hey, it's good to go. Let's go everywhere. And I'd say most businesses aren't doing that well. And it's going to take a while. And then obviously anybody trying to sell a business right now, the banks aren't really lending on somebody who wants to buy a restaurant. I have a few restaurants for sale here, and that's that's one of the issues.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah. Is it easy to order food in?
Yeah. Skip the dishes, Uber Eats,
It's all there.
everything. Yeah. I was actually reading something the other day here, something where Kingston's one of the highest per capita restaurants. There's restaurants everywhere. So there's multiple delivery services, and then obviously the actual restaurants will deliver as well. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's very easy.
So it's always a challenge moving to a new city, and especially as a real estate agent, because like you said, with the buyer's agents, like everybody's got an agent.
Yeah.
How do you start from scratch? How do you get clients? And you talk to people, and they say, "Well, I've got an agent. I probably have 3 agents."
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I've always just made sure that everybody knows I'm a realtor. I'm not like in their face, but I mean, if you're done a conversation with me, you know what I do. I'm going to let them know that. And because my background is marketing and running the direct mail company. So I mean, I do a lot of marketing, and I try to be smart with it. Maybe have some other businesses jump on board my marketing to help pay for it, so I can hit more homes.
Mm-hmm.
And then some strategic Facebook ads, some just out there, and then eventually the stuff will come to you. It's right. So and then I help other agents, with their marketing, and they, some of the agents have joined my team, and then it just adds, and there's just more people out saying, hey, and and then
having
eventually
conversations, and someone's got to go out of town, and they say, "Can you take this client?" And they know you're trustworthy, reliable.
Exactly. So. And then you get more business, and then everybody, you've helped them, and then they've told a bunch of people that you did a great job, and then eventually you're just you're busy. The phone rings.
Yeah. How long have you been there?
Since got my license transferred here in September of 2019.
Okay. Was it an easy process to change your license? Did you have to do any exams?
Yeah, you had to take an exam. So instead of 100 questions, it's 50 questions. But it's still hard. And it was just more questions where they're geared to, hey, if you're moving from BC to Ontario, this is the difference in real estate here. So they focused more on those questions.
Are there some big differences between the?
Not a huge difference, no. Just a few things that I wish they actually changed to more like BC, where the buyer deposit goes to the listing brokerage. Mm. So with you, I mean, you take the deposit you're working at Remax, you're working at Fair, wherever you're working, you take the deposit, you bring it back to your brokerage, deposit it. And it's easy. Yeah. Here, you got to get it to that other brokerage, bring it to them, and it's just kind of a little couple extra steps that kind of waste a little time.
Right. And are you still doing the continuing education, renewing every 2 years? Do you still have to do all that?
Yeah. There hasn't been. I don't think it's not as strict as BC. BC definitely had a lot more credits that you had to get. Where here, it's just you do a few online things every couple of years. Actually, I haven't had to do them yet. So
right on.
Since I've moved here, but it's only been it's almost like literally, if you think about it, move here, get my license, transfer over September. Going into winter here, which is winter, not like BC where there's it's a light winter and people are still, you can swim if the weather hits you right. And then COVID starts. So literally my whole real estate career in Ontario has almost been during COVID. So, which might have helped me. I'm not sure. I think it might have helped me because I had to pivot, right? Yeah. So, and everybody else that was used to their normal way of doing business didn't pivot, or was too late because they had all their normal people that are always calling them their sphere that I didn't have. So there was no really difference for me. I had to find business or family will starve.
Right. And are you still doing the direct mail and the marketing?
I'm doing it just for myself. Yeah, I don't.
Just for yourself. You don't get like tips and stuff to your colleagues. Like you said, your teammates, you'll help them.
Yeah, I help my teammates, but also with EXP, actually, I'm helping a lot more people because it's more of a sharing community, right? So I'm helping people across Canada with direct mail.
Nice.
Are
you doing a lot of direct mail yourself?
Yeah, I'm doing a lot myself. I mean, it's like anything. People have to believe it, understand it, and do it properly, right? The problem is everybody seems to dabble, right? Oh, I'm going to do some radio ads for 2 weeks. Right. I'm going to send out a postcard with no message and just say, hey, I'm Jason, and send it out once. Why didn't I get 10 listings from that? Hey, I send out a postcard. It's frequency, right? So I'm doing smaller farm areas that I'm targeting with a specific message. And then I do a larger piece that's in a magazine that's delivered by Canada Post that goes to 50,000 homes. Right? So that one's, it's cost less per home, but you're also mixed in with a magazine, right? Where postcard to a neighborhood costs you more per home, but you can be more targeted and your message can be targeted. Or I can't have a targeted message for Kingston, the whole city. I can just, if I'm sending the magazine. So for my neighborhood, there's a targeted message for Polson Park, for example. Here's the stats for Polson Park for the last 3 months. And I live right down the street, where I can't say that in every other. Right. And then then you're building trust, and they're, you got to know you and like you, right? So once they see your face more and more, then it's like, I always just think about for all the Seinfeld fans out there with George when he was dating that girl, and he's like, every time he left, he'd say, best stanza. And it's like, eventually she liked him, right? Because she's like kept hearing his name.
That was yeah, for sure. Are you still connected to that direct mail company?
Yes.
Or
Yeah. My very good friend is the owner and CEO of the company. So
yeah, and I'm trying to remember how it works. Like that you would do a design, and then they would do the mailing. So you upload the design, and they take care of everything.
Yeah. So there's multiple ways. It's all direct mail through Canada Post. So you'd either have your own standalone piece, like a postcard or a large postcard that you're going to send out, or there'd be a co-op piece where it was either in a magazine or in an envelope, where there's going to be a pizza place, a roofing place, where you're all sharing the costs. So instead of 25 cents a house for your own postcard, you're in there for 2 or 3 cents a house.
I see.
Right? But you're mixed in with more people.
Right. That's pretty effective?
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, you're like anything you got to do. You have to have your budget, and people. Maybe you start in a smaller area with doing one zone of that envelope or magazine, and then you move in, and as you get more sales, you reinvest and do more and more and more, and then frequency. If they're seeing you month after month after month in their mailbox, they're not seeing anybody else, or they see everybody just once or twice a year. You're going to be the person that's going to be top of mind.
Yeah. I don't see much direct mail in Kelowna anymore. And I think a lot of marketers have gone to like email. And for me with email, it's just all day, delete, because it's just too much.
Like I wake up every morning, I've got anywhere from 30 to 60 emails. 60 if I didn't check my emails past 8 p.m. at night. And what do? You just go on your phone and you go select, and you go through all the ones that you don't want to read, and you know that they're just junk, and you delete.
Exactly.
When you've got really extra time, you unsubscribe. Right? So I mean, direct mail is something I've always believed in, but I mean, you got to couple it with something else, right? So you can do a postcard, and then you could do a targeted Facebook campaign to right down to those same neighborhood, where they're seeing the postcard in their hand, and then they're seeing you on their phone, and then they're like, "Wow, this guy's everywhere."
Yeah,
right.
I mean, I like the envelope idea, because if you get a bunch of bulk mail, you're going to go through and you're going to keep the stuff that you want, and you're going to recycle the stuff that you don't. Might as well be in an envelope for 1/10 the cost.
Exactly. You're just paying for that split second for them to look at it. Hey, am I selling my house? Yes or no? Toss.
Right.
Thinking of selling, keep it. Or when a month down the road, they get transferred, they didn't even know they're going to sell it, and then they're like, hey, there's that guy Jason in that envelope. I'm going to give him a call.
Right. Is there Anybody doing the envelopes in Kelowna?
Yeah, it's still going there. It's right across Canada.
Yeah,
from Victoria right down to St. John's, Newfoundland.
because I haven't seen it in a
No,
while.
you haven't seen it? No. As far as I know, it's still going, but I know there's still Canada Post there, so you can do anything else as well.
Individual.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, that's great. I think that's really useful information, especially for realtors that are kind of struggling right now. I think you've always been a good example of just persistence. And
I think the real message is there. You just got to do frequency. Whatever you're doing, you have to keep doing it. Because or just, choose 2 to 3 avenues or pillars, whatever you want to call them, that you're spending your marketing dollars or being, whether it's you're doing a podcast, that's one of your pillars. You can do that, keep doing it, it will pay off eventually, right? If you like newspaper, do newspaper. Because if you're in there every time, the people that read the newspaper are going to see you. If somebody's just dabbling, doing one issue every 10 weeks, like they're not going to be top of mind in there, right? So if you're starting postcards, and you're spending, it still costs, a lot of money to even do a small farm area. But if you only do it 3 times, you're there. It's wasted money.
Exactly.
Right. So there's a reason why Coke and McDonald's and everybody knows them and trusts them because Coke's pretty big. McDonald's is pretty big. Do they stop marketing? No. They need to be top of mind, or Burger King's coming in, or Pepsi's coming in.
Yep.
Right? And then they'll take over the spot. Right?
Exactly. Yeah. Well, it's great talking to you, Jason.
You too, Luke. It's been a while. So let's keep in touch. And thanks for having me on your show.
Thanks. Okay. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay. Bye.
Luke Mankus is a realtor. He loves what he does. We asked Luke if he had any regrets about moving here in 2011. And he always says, yeah, one regret. And that is he didn't move here sooner. When Luke came here, he didn't know anyone. He didn't know the neighborhoods or anything or anyone besides his daughter, who was 6 years old at the time. So he knows what it's like. Now, he's an expert and has helped well over 100 single people, couples, families, and investors with their real estate needs in the Okanagan. If you're new to our beautiful city, Luke can help you get connected with great lawyers, dentists, carpenters, landscapers, swimming pool installers, you name it. And whether you're new to Kelowna or not, Luke knows real estate. He can help you find a great property, negotiate a good deal, and hold your hand all the way through the process until the day you get your shiny new set of keys. Luke is known as a no-pressure kind of guy. He's had clients where it took even a year or more to get them into a property. He just doesn't believe in rushing things. On the other hand, when you decide it's time to act, he's diligent and he'll work day and night until the job is done. Give Luke Mankus a call or a text message at any time. 778-215-4273. Again, that's 778-215-4273. 778-215-4273 to chat with Luke about real estate.